Hello, welcome to Portal to Your Powers. This is a place where we bring you tips, tricks, and little hints that have helped us along the way as we've stepped into our superpowers. I'm your cosmic soul sister, Leah, and today we will be discussing 4 actionable steps that you can take to connect to your spirit guides today. Number 1, very important, very simple, and you can do it in 30 seconds. Accept the fact that you have guides. If you are watching this video right now, you have spirit guides, and you have had them your whole entire life. It could be angels, it could be spirits, it could be galactic beings. You have guidance. They have been helping you along the whole time that you have been alive. So accept it, know it, own it, and release any doubt that you have around that question. And that's step number 1. You can just check it off your list right now. It's done. So step number 2, you must find the time in your life to quiet your mind so that you can know what's yours and what's not yours. And by this, I mean opening up your space in your own mind and in your own life to receive the messages, or to at least recognize that you're receiving them. So what I like to recommend for people is to take 5 minutes a day. Set your phone, set your alarm for 5 minutes. And your goal in this 5-minute period is to sit in quiet and stillness and just notice the thoughts that come into your mind. Notice, okay, that's a thought. I was just thinking about what I'm going to make for dinner. So that's something I'm going to file away in my to-do list. And then try to quiet your mind again. And then another thought might pop in and you think to yourself, oh, that was me just remembering something that happened earlier today. I'm going to file that in the past memories folder. What's going to happen if you do this long enough is that you're going to recognize the kind of thoughts that come into your head. You're going to recognize whether they're yours or whether they might be coming from a different source. So for example, if a thought pops into your head that wasn't part of what I like to call the thought train, where you can like kind of trace it back to, yeah, I was thinking about this because of this and because of this, and it kind of led to this, the thought train. If something just randomly pops into your mind and occurs to you and you can't trace it back to where it came from, that was most likely your guides talking to you, your guides delivering a message. And when you take that 5 minutes a day to sit in silence and recognize that your thoughts, you start to differentiate yours from their messages. So for me, this is going to sound really crazy, but when I receive a message from my guides, it comes from a different area of my brain. That's how it feels anyway. It feels like it's coming from a different part of my brain than when I'm, in my usual thought train, I like to call that. So it also just has a little different energetic feeling. And after a while, you're going to start to recognize the energetic feeling of your thoughts. They're different, whether they're mine or whether they're coming from my guides. So number 2, make space in your life to receive that guidance. Number 3, be aware that the divine guidance, the messages from your guides can come in different forms. It's not always a message that you're going to hear in your head. For example, I have a very close friend, and he was a little bit discouraged because he hadn't been able to communicate with his guides. He was pretty convinced he didn't have them. But nevertheless, every night before bed, he would ask for guidance right before he fell asleep, like if he was having an issue that he needed some help with. And he recognized one morning he woke up and he had a song playing in his head. And it was an old song. It was from like early 2000s, like it's something that he hadn't heard forever. And he thought, wow, that's a really good song. I don't know why I was thinking of that. That's so weird, but I hadn't thought about that song forever. Later on in the day, he gets in his car to come to drive home from work. And the same song is playing. And it's on XM, Sirius XM radio. So not a popular song, not even a single. It was just something off the B side of the album, back 15 years ago. But for some reason, that song is playing in his car that day. And he reached out to me and was asking, or just mentioned that was kind of a weird coincidence. And I said, I bet it was your guides. I bet that is a message from your guides go ahead and look up the lyrics, see what the lyrics say. And it was so trippy because the lyrics to that song matched exactly what he was needing help with, that he had been asking for help with right before he fell asleep that night. So really trippy, but very clearly a message from his guides. Also, another example is oftentimes people get messages in their dreams, and they may not recognize that it's guides coming into their dreams to steer them in a certain direction, but it in fact is. So if you have lots of dreams around a certain topic, or sometimes solutions might come into your dreams, you might recognize that they're fitting a pattern of being from your guides. So that's quite common, but not recognized by everybody. So just pay attention to that. Number 3. Oh, that was number 3. Number 4. This one is probably the hardest, I would say, but possibly the most important, and that is to be patient. You have to trust that the answer is going to come to you. And now we're all humans. And if you're like me, you want it right now. You ask the question, you fall asleep that night, you wake up, no answer. And you're like, what the heck? I want my answer. But the truth is, the message is coming to you. It will come to you when the time is right. And also, it is possible that it wouldn't serve your higher purpose for the answer to come to you at that exact moment. So you just have to trust. Your guides have your back. They know exactly what's going to be the best for you. And the message will be delivered in the time that's appropriate and in the way that's going to work for you. It's going to come. You just have to have faith and let it go. So what I mean by that is the more you grasp at it and the more you think, it's not coming, it's not coming, it's not coming, that's putting up resistance. And the way that the energy flows in the universe, if you cast that line and you just leave it, you allow it to come into your life instead of using all the desperation behind getting the answer back and stressing out about why it's not here. If you just allow it to come back, it will flow a lot easier. So one last thing on this. I would highly recommend when you're starting out to look for messages in between the space of sleep and wake. So for a lot of people in the very beginning, this is where they start to recognize the messaging coming into them. The time when you're not fully asleep, but yet you're not fully awake. And this could be because you're in theta, which is a brainwave state, similar to where you might be during meditation if you can get to a nice theta wave when you're meditating. And that is the place where your brain waves are in that window between sleep and wake. So that is a time when you might get a great message, and all you have to do is just be aware of that. So anything that pops into your mind then is likely a message from your guides. So with that, one thing that I want to leave you with in closing, and this goes for any of our teachings, anything ever that we bring to you, we encourage you to use your discernment. And by that I mean, take what feels right to you and leave what doesn't. So if anything in our message resonates with you, great. I hope it helps. I hope that you can make some magic with it, or invite some magic into your life with it. But if it doesn't feel right in your body, if it doesn't resonate with you, leave it. That's great too. Really, the only thing that matters, the very most important thing that matters, is that you are feeling into your body and you are realizing what fits for you and what doesn't. So with that, I hope you have a fabulous day. Thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time.